algebra students, Mr. Lawrence here, and this will be the last video you have to watch until right before the end of spring break, okay? We're going to have a test on Thursday. You can watch this one more than once if you want. Dance Marathon Friday. There is help after school on Wednesday. But anyway, this will be the last video you have to watch until over spring break, okay? And it'll just be the one video to get you ready for Monday's lesson. All right, excuse me. So, what is the test going to cover? Now, I'll warn you, the last page of this test, or this test review, I should say, is for honors only. So after you see this page, which has 4 problems on it, all right, the next page, which has a very lengthy story problem on it, and then right after that, 2nd period and 8th period can stop watching. Brad, you're in 1st period, you need to watch the 3rd page. Okay, those of you in 2nd or 8th period don't need to watch this. You can if you want, it's just you're not going to be tested on it. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let's practice some graphing here. Now, this first problem I have to graph. First thing I notice right off the bat is it's negative. A is negative. I'm going to go identify A, B, C, right? And since A is negative, I know this parabola is going to open downward. Okay, now I'm going to find the discriminant right off the bat, because the discriminant is going to tell me how many solutions there are. So I'm going to do the b squared minus 4ac part. So I'm going to go to b squared minus 4ac. And so I'm going to get 25 minus 40, which is negative 15. My discriminant is negative, which means there will be no solutions. This parabola will not cross the x-axis. It would be a waste of time to go and do the rest of the quadratic formula. So I'm going to go looking for my vertex, and I know x equals negative b over 2a. And so I'm going to put the negative 5 over negative 2, which is 2.5, right? That's the x-coordinate of the vertex. The axis of symmetry is x equals 2.5, right? So there's going to be this dotted line. Let me find my axis of symmetry. Let's see, 2.5, right about there. And I guess I should make that thinner. Okay, the negative b over 2a tells me the axis of symmetry. It also tells me the x-coordinate of the vertex. I need to find the y-coordinate of the vertex. Whoa, I'm moving those. I didn't mean to move those. Stop. All right, I'm not sure what's going on, but that's okay. There we go. Let's see if I can't. There we go. All right, so my vertex is going to lie somewhere on there. Okay, well, I'm going to use a table now and go and find 2 points. So let's see here. 3 points, actually, right? I'm not going to look for zeros because I know there are no zeros. Okay, so I'm going to plug 2.5 in to my graphing calculator. Okay, so I've got my graphing calculator up. And so my equation, what was my equation again? It was negative x squared plus 5x minus 10. And so I'm going to put my 2.5 in there. Yeah, it's a little slow going today. Sorry about that. Plus 5 times. There we go. All right, and then minus 10. All right, and I get 0. Uh-oh, something's wrong there. Something's wrong. I came up with a negative discriminant. I have to have a mistake here. Hold on 1 second. Yep, I found my mistake. Do you see it? I forgot to square the first quantity. Alright, so I'm going to do second insert, put my square there, and there we go. That looks a little better. And there we go. Okay. See, it's always good to be able to check yourself. I knew I had to have a mistake because my discriminant told me there were no solutions. So, 2.5 and then negative 1, 2, 3, 7, 5 is right there. Okay, so that will be at 2.5 negative 3 and 75 hundredths, right? Okay, and I'm writing it above the parabola because since there are no solutions, then the parabola must be opening downward because the vertex is below the x-axis. So now I'm going to put 0 in for x, and I'm also going to put 5 in because of symmetry. When I put 0 in for x, I get negative 10 out. When I put 5 in, I'll have to get negative 10 out due to symmetry. So I can graph 0, negative 10, and 3, 4, 5, negative 10, and now you get to watch me draw parabolas again. Woohoo! Hey, half isn't too shabby. Alright, so there we go. I must be getting a little practice, getting a little bit better. I'm not sure why it switched to black, but that's okay. Alright, there's my parabola. Alright, I identified the axis of symmetry as a line x equals positive 2.5. I found my vertex, and I identified 3 points, and I'm going to label them on the graph. Okay, now if you have the t-table, that's not a bad idea. I would accept that as labeling. Okay. All right, problem number 2 here. Again, I'm going to go ABC, ABC. Easiest, 3, 6, negative 2. I'm going to go find the discriminant, find out how many solutions there are. So I'm going to do 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 2. That'll be 36 plus 24, which I believe will be 60. So it's a positive, so there's going to be 2 solutions. So I'm going to go to the quadratic formula. X equals negative of b plus or minus the square root of the discriminant all over 2a. And if I want, I can go to my calculator here. I don't like taking the square root of 60 because then you round it. So negative 6, 60, and then 6. All right, so we're going to go and start. I don't think it'll let, oh, well, let me do that. Negative 6. Oh, it might not like that. I better not. It might not like that minus there. It might think that that's the wrong thing. So I better use my pen to do this. Negative 6. And we'll do plus the square root plus the square root of 60. Close that, and then I'll close the numerator, and then I'll divide by 6. All right, and so one of my answers is going to be about 0.29, about 29 hundredths approximately. The other answer I can get by editing this to a minus, and then I'll get negative 2.29. So let's see here. 29 and negative 2.29. So my zeros are going to occur at about 0.29, so pretty close to a quarter. And it's opening upward, so I'm going to put it there. And that'll be 0. No. That'll be 0.29 and 0. And then the other one is negative 2.29. So maybe like that. Okay, so that'll be negative 2.29. And there we go. All right, now I got to go find the vertex. Well, the axis of symmetry is going to be x equals negative b over 2a. And the vertex will lie on the axis of symmetry. So we're going to get negative 6 over positive 6, which will be negative 1. And so my axis of symmetry in this problem, I'm going to borrow this broken, oh, silly goose, 2.5. There we go. Okay, so negative 1. And it does look like it's smack in the middle of those 2 points, doesn't it? All right, now I've got to get the y-coordinate of the vertex. So if I'm asked for the axis of symmetry on the test, I'll say it's x equals negative 1. But to get the y-coordinate of the vertex, I'm going to go 3 times negative 1 squared plus 6 times negative 1 minus 2. And that'll get me the y-coordinate. So I think this is going to be 3. It's going to be negative 6, negative 2. I think y is going to equal -5. Yeah, -5. So -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so -1, -5. And there we go. Now we're ready to draw our parabola. Ooh. All right. There we go. That's not too shabby for being on the airliner. There's my parabola with 3 points. Okay, so this one here, got to identify A, B, C, easy as 9, -30, 25. Go find the discriminant. All right, -30 squared minus 4AC. All right, I'm thinking that this is 900. 4 quarters is $1 times 9, 900, right? 900 pennies. Okay, that'll be 900. Looks like my discriminant is 0. All right, I can do the quadratic formula. It'll be real simple. It's going to be my one solution. It's going to get me the vertex. So I'm going to go x equals the negative of b plus or minus the square root of the discriminant all over 2a. And so it's going to be 30/18. Okay, and I want to simplify that. 2 is going to go in 15/9, which is going to be 1 6/9. So about 1 2/3. So that's the x-coordinate of the vertex. I know the y-coordinate of the vertex already. How do I know? Because there's only one solution. It's sitting on the x-axis. So 1 2/3. And again, I like to make that thin. There we go, and I'm going to clone him for use on the next problem. All right, so 1 2/3 is right there. So my vertex is sitting right here. The line of symmetry is x equals 1 2/3. Okay, this point is 1 2/3, 0. Okay, I didn't need to plug it in. If I do plug it in, I will get 0 out. Okay, but now I need a table because I need 3 points to graph, not just 1. So I have 1 2/3, 0. I'm going to plug 0 in, and I'm going to get 25 out. Oh, that's not too friendly, but I guess I can count by a different number. So I guess maybe I'll count by 3. So this will be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. Okay, so 25 would be like right about here. Right, about 1/3 of the way up. Okay, now what other number is going to give me 25 out? Well, 1 2/3 plus 1 2/3. Well, these make 2. 2/3 and 2/3 is 4/3. Same as 1 1/3. So now if I add the whole numbers, I go up to 3 1/3. Okay, so 3 1/3 will get me the other 25. So I'll go to 3 1/3 and it'll be right about there. So that'll be 3 1/3, 25, and then 0, 25. All right, now I'm ready to draw my parabola. Pretty easy stuff. You've done many of these. Of course, most of you have. Some of you haven't been preparing. And there's a typical Mr. Large parabola on the airliner. Oh my goodness, that's ugly. All right, one last graph, and then we'll get on to the story problems. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this work here because it's in my way. Again, starting with the discriminant. So A, B, C. Easy as 3, -9, -30. And so -9 squared minus 4 times A times C. It's going to get 18. No. I've been teaching 8th graders too long. I did it again. Ah! 81 plus 12 times 3 is 36, and then add the 0. And so I think that's going to be 441, which I believe is a perfect square. I want to say 21. I'm pretty sure about that, which means this could have been factored. Okay, but that's okay if you don't see the factoring. So now we're going to go to the quadratic formula. We know there's going to be two solutions. I'm going to do the negative of b plus or minus square root of my discriminant all over 2a. And if I want, I can go to the calculator, or since 441 is a perfect square, I could rewrite it as 9 plus or minus 21 over 6. Yeah, let's do that, so I don't even need to go to the calculator in this case. 9 plus or minus 21 over 6. So now x is going to equal 9 plus 21 over 6, so that'll be 30 over 6, or 5. And the other one will be 9 minus 21, which is negative 12, divided by 6, which is negative 2. So these points occur at, or the zeros occur at 5, 0, and negative 2, 0. Those are my solutions. Those are the roots of the parabola. So 5, 0 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then negative 2, 0 is right there. Now, my axis of symmetry is not in the right place, is it? No, it's definitely not. But I'll bet you can figure it out. Okay, of course you can do negative b over 2a, which is a good way to do it. But what's negative 2 plus 5? 3, and half of 5 is 1.5. I will bet you that when we do negative b over 2a, it ends up being 1.5. Let's test it. Let's test it. How did I do that? I used symmetry. All right. So let's do x equals negative b over 2a. And, oh, I'm not getting 1.5. Do I have a mistake? No, I don't have a mistake. Somewhere I do. It's not 1.5. Oh, yeah, it is 1.5. Silly Mr. Lawrence. I was thinking it said 6/9 instead of 9/6. All right, so that's 1.5, right? Because if I simplify, divide by 3, I get 3 over 2, and then it goes in 1 with 1 left over. 1.5. So now I do need to plug 1.5 in for x so I can figure out y. Okay, so let me do that. So I'm going to get 3 times 0.5 squared minus 9 times 1.5 minus 30. And that's a negative 36.75. All right, well, what do I want to count by on my y-axis? I got to get to 36. Counting by 3s only get me 30. I guess counting by 4s. I'll count by 4s. That'd be negative 4. So this will be negative 40. So negative 36 will be there. What did I say it was? 36 3/4. So it's going to be something like this. Okay, and this will probably be a challenging parabola to draw. But anyway, do the best I can. Yikes! What is that? Get that out of there. I think I'll cheat. Oops. Hold on a second. There we go. That'll look a little bit better. Okay, and of course we want the U shape. We want it to look as rounded as possible, so I'll kind of soften up my U there. There we go. All right, let's do a story problem. Now the story problem's a little bit long. This video is getting a little bit long. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to stop it here, and I'm going to record part 2. So I'll see you in a few minutes.